Lindenhurst is a village of 27,000 on the south shore of Long Island, New York. These are the people who grew up there and their stories. Everyone I know is from Lindenhurst. All right, we're rolling.
All right, we're good to go here.
On location at Pino Wine Bar in beautiful downtown Lindenhurst.
Indeed.
You might hear a little music coming from the background, but we'll call that ambiance.
Yes.
Yeah. We're here with Anthony, owner.
Hello.
And so you are a Lindenhurst native.
I am.
So can you just tell us, before we get into the business, your roots in Lindenhurst and how your family ended up here?
So, was raised here in Lindenhurst. You know, my parents being immigrants from Italy, decided to raise their family here in Lindenhurst. Grew up in the restaurant business all my life. My mother's family has had restaurants here in Lindenhurst. My brother has a restaurant here in Lindenhurst. And now I have a restaurant here in Lindenhurst.
There you go.
And your brother owns
Spazzo's,
right?
There we go.
Yes, that's my big brother. And then back in the day before Gocciadoro was Bono's, which was my uncle.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously, coming from the motherland, a lot of good cooks in the family.
The whole family.
Yeah. So does that go back to Italy, like where did they have restaurants back then as well?
Yes, we had pizzerias, restaurants, bakeries, you name it. I never got into the baking end. I was more in the cooking end.
It's a different talent, for sure.
It is. It's very different. And you got to remember, bakeries in Italy, there's different bakeries. So we were more in the bread bakery end.
Gotcha.
So bread,
as opposed to
pizza.
pastries.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Gotcha. And what part of town did you grow up in?
I grew up down by the high school on Alphabet Streets. So, on North Lewis.
Gotcha.
So Daniel Street for elementary? Or?
No, I was the southernmost part of the North Lindenhurst, North blocks.
Okay.
So I was
wrong.
down by the train tracks.
Okay.
No, I went to Allegheny.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So what were you getting into as a kid? Were you playing sports or any extracurriculars like that?
I was on the football and wrestling team. And, that was up until 9th grade, and then I got shipped off to a private school.
Was that, well, it's not your choice at that age, I know. But
It's not my choice at that age.
Okay. So at college after that?
1 year of college, realized it wasn't for me, and I opened up my first business at 19. So,
What was that?
it was pizzeria.
Oh, it was pizzeria. Okay.
Yes.
In Lindenhurst or?
No, Islip. East Islip.
And, okay, is that still an operating pizzeria now or did?
It's an operating restaurant, not a pizzeria anymore. I think it's, last I heard it was like something like Butterfields or something, or Buttermilks.
Buttermilks, that sounds familiar. I don't know.
Sounds like a thing to me.
And like what year about was this that you got started?
96.
Okay. Not to out your age if you don't want to, but
I'm going to be 48 in about 3 weeks.
Okay. Not that much older.
Not much
than
older
us.
than us,
Yeah.
so it's all good. Okay. And like, getting started back then, getting your funding and just like kind of getting everything up and running and like finding help.
Well, that's the difference. There was really no funding because, again, came from immigrant parents.
Yeah.
So we worked and saved. I mean, after my parents retired, I was 13 years old when my father sold his businesses and took some time off. And he comes to me and says, "Summertime's coming. What are you going to do?" And as a 13-year-old kid, ride my bike. That's where my answer goes. "No, you're going to get a job." And I got a job working in a pizzeria back in the day where now LA Fitness used to be King Cullen.
Right.
There was a pizzeria that opened up over there, and he told me about the pizzeria, and I went to go over there to go, apply for a job. I helped the guy construct a place, and we became good friends. We're still friends to today, and I worked there for a while. Paid me very well for a 13-year-old kid. My parents were actually shocked that I was making so much. So then my dad said I had to pay him rent, and he took majority of the money and kept me with like $30 in my pocket. And if I had to buy anything, it was out of that $30. Not that I paid him rent. He saved it for me, and that was the money I used to buy the business.
There you go.
So you probably hated it at the time, but later on you were like, oh, thanks, Dad.
Listen, $30 when I was 13 years old is not like $30 today.
No, not at all.
$30 was a lot of money back then.
It was a fortune to a 13-year-old back
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But, he definitely taught you the value of $1, to
100%.
use the cliche.
100%.
For sure. And so, so you were doing a little bit of everything at 13, just cooking and
Well, I started
prep
making
work.
pizzas at 9 years old, and I started sauteing at 11. And I loved making food. I loved different things, and I tried veering away from just Italian because I love to grill. I love barbecue. Just different, it's, for some people cooking is hard. For me, I taste something that says, I could probably improve that and do something. Not trying to sound cocky, but it's just, I think I could add that little extra twist to it.
And were you doing that in your pizza businesses? Were there kind of new concoctions coming out?
Yes.
Okay.
I had a lot of different, always Italian, but a lot of different dishes that you would never see in a normal pizzeria.
Because there are certain things that people will turn their nose up at. Obviously pineapple on pizza is one of them.
Listen, am I a fan of pineapple on pizza? Probably not, but if that's what someone likes, you can't tell someone likes.
Right.
It's like the old Italians used to say, you shouldn't put cheese on fish. And when they see me putting cheese on clam sauce, when I'm eating it, it's the way I like it. You don't have to eat it. I didn't tell you to eat it.
Right. Exactly. Some people are very purist about it, but I think just for the sake of being purist about it, not because they may secretly like it. But, okay, so getting into wine, did that come alongside food for you?
I grew up, that wine press you see behind you, that was my dad and my uncle's.
Okay.
So we used to make wines, used to drink a lot of wine. In Europe, there was no drinking age back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was never forbidden for us as kids to not have a drink. If there was wine on the table and we wanted a little bit, obviously it was adult supervision, but it was never restricted for us. We growing up when my friends say, "Oh, we got beer," it was like, okay, and what? It didn't matter for me because
to them it was like they were getting away with something. You were just okay.
I remember I had my neighbor, I had an Irish family living next door to us, and my parents loved to entertain. And, they had a nice liquor cabinet, and your parents don't mark the liquor? I said, mark the liquor? What's that? I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
But I like wines. There's different wines. Opening up this place, I probably tasted 700 different wines, as far as different brands. And I've had some really terrible wine. And I've had some really great wine. But when choosing wines for the store, I have to be conscious of my demographics as well.
So it would be different, let's say in the suburbs than in the city. Or somewhere in Europe, obviously.
It's different all over.
Yeah.
There's great wines from all over the world. People sit here and they we'll take a Sauv Blanc, for example. Everyone's geared to Sauv Blanc for New Zealand. You think Sauv Blanc, you're thinking New Zealand. There's great Sauv Blancs that aren't from New Zealand. I have a South African Sauv Blanc where I've let people taste and they're like, wow, this is amazing. I'm more of a red wine drinker, but, I do have a palate for both.
So now a sommelier is a wine taster. I know that's something you have to train for and get kind of certified in.
There's a lot of certifications.
Yeah. So can you tell me
I am not
what...
a sommelier.
Okay.
I just know wines.
Can you tell me what goes into that though, and what did you have to consult with a sommelier when you were opening the place?
I did have a sommelier here. When I decided on the wines I was choosing here, I had my sommelier, my lead bartender, and I've had people that knew wines and people that had no idea what wine was. And so I had a panel of 10 people, and we all tasted, before opening, and we came to a conclusion. Now, again, being conscious of the demographics, I can't bring in a $400 bottle of wine to Lindenhurst. My most expensive bottle here is $200. My cheapest bottle is $29. But still a good quality wine, not not something like grape juice.
Not a box wine.
Not a box wine. Not a. So again, I picked what I thought would be well for the demographics. We do have some wine connoisseurs here that are our customers, and they love the selection. I have one customer that actually has his own menu because he's determined to taste every wine that I have on my menu. And so far, he's probably about better than 3/4 through it. And he says, you have some exquisite wines that I haven't tasted, because you could take two of the same wines, two Cabernet Sauvignons, and, there's different, depending on how it's aged, how it's, what kind of barrel, if it's aged in a steel, if it's aged in oak, if it's aged in a bourbon barrel.
Right.
It will alter the taste. You could take the same exact juice and age it in 3 different things, and it'll have a different taste.
It's kind of like you have to tune your taste buds to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, people don't think of Lindenhurst as being a wine town per se. How has the town responded to the place since it's open? Yeah,
they love it. So when I told friends and stuff, I'm opening up a place, and they're like, "Oh, where Lindenhurst?" Like, why Lindenhurst? I said, "Why not?" For me, if it was good enough for my parents to raise a family here,
Right.
it's good enough for me to open a place.
Of
and
course.
Lindenhurst didn't have that. And I've always said to people, Lindenhurst could be better than Babylon. And it's on its way there.
Yeah.
I mean, the people in office are very pro-business. And they if they think that you're going to be an asset, they help you out a lot. I mean, I'm sure if I wanted to open up a marijuana dispensary here, they probably wouldn't want that.
Right.
But something that's going to attract different people, because, I love Lindenhurst. I don't know, it's like you could take, how they say you could take the person out of Brooklyn, but you can't take the Brooklyn out of the person. Yeah. You could take me out of Lindenhurst, but you can't take the Lindenhurst out of me.
Right.
It's just, for me, when I hear people knocking it, and it hurts me because it is a good town. I remember as a kid, my uncle having a business, we used to have 2 beat cops here walking, the street, and it was a very walkable town.
Yeah.
And then, 2006, 2008 time, it got a little raggedy.
Yeah.
We had empty storefronts, syringes in front of businesses.
Uh-huh.
It was depressing, especially that I grew up here, because I knew that wasn't what this town was about.
For sure.
It's a very tightly knit town. I mean, look during Sandy, how everyone came together, helping out. I mean, we had some destruction here during Sandy, and I remember my mom would sit there from our house and just make pots of soup and stuff, and bring it to the church so they can give out to people, because, listen, it was a bad time for Lindy people.
Yeah.
Yeah, around that time, like, if I told someone I was from Lindenhurst, they would look at me like, "Oh, are you okay?"
Yeah, our town was on the news a lot. People that didn't know what the hell Lindenhurst was heard a lot about it, though.
I'm very content with what's going on with Lindenhurst. There's great things happening, and even the people in the officials, they're very psyched about what goes on, and the clientele that comes in, they're not rowdy. They see that I have a bouncer here at nighttime, and they're like, "You need a bouncer here?" I says, "No, I really don't. But you know what? Better to have and not need, and than to need and not have."
Right.
Yeah, wherever alcohol's involved, you never know.
Yeah, music and late night. But again, fortunately, it's been good. I have I can't say strict, but if I don't care about serving someone that's drunk. If my security knows that if they look drunk, I don't want them in here, because I don't need that extra dollar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't want to have Lindenhurst make that bad rap. I mean, we had businesses here that got shut down because of someone getting killed.
Uh-huh.
I've heard a lot of stories about what's happened with, and that's why they implemented, we have to close by 2:00. That was the first thing when I went to go bring it up. What time are you closing? I was like, whenever you want me to close. They're like, 2:00, lights out.
Yeah, that's plenty.
It's plenty. And you know what? It's just, I don't see the people going out later than that.
Nothing good happens after.
I mean, I do cater to an older demographic, so it's, late 30s, no, actually early 30s, and mature crowd, and,
They're probably
all
not staying out
working
all
class
night
people.
anymore, yeah.
They're out by 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's not the fake ID crowd trying to get in here.
None. My security's very good at
Yeah.
that. My security's actually trains, gives classes, and licensed security people. So my guys are ahead. Again, I didn't invest into this store and invest. I mean, it's not like I put paint on the walls and opened up. I gutted the whole store and, made it something because I wanted this. I mean, I had the opportunity of buying a place in Bayshore, Corks and Taps. I don't know if guys are familiar with that, for cheaper than what it cost me to build this place. But I says, Lindenhurst is where I belong.
Yeah, and Bayshore is a pretty established town now. It kind of had the same trajectory as Lindenhurst. It was kind of a ghost town
Yes.
for a while, but for a few years, it's been pretty established. You want to be kind of like on the cusp here.
This is prime real estate right
Yeah.
on Wellwood too.
Yeah.
I want to see Lindenhurst. We're not big enough to be busier than Bayshore because it's a bigger strip.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see Lindenhurst flourish the way Bayshore did. I mean, they're doing great things as far as where the old Bijou is. They're putting in. It's not going to be another restaurant. I'm not going to say what it's going to be, but it's going to be very good for the village.
Oh,
Awesome.
It's going to bring a lot of traffic from outside the village and quality traffic.
little cliffhanger for you all.
I'm sure we'll see soon enough.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I'm excited about it, especially being diagonally across the street from my place. So
Yeah.
it's going to be good.
So we were trying to remember what was in the space before
Tennessee
you.
Jets.
It was
Gotcha,
Tennessee Jets.
that's what I
okay.
thought.
Thought so.
Tennessee Jeds was kind of dormant here for a while. Like they were in the space but not open all the time or something. And
I don't know. It was a very tough closing. I almost didn't do it.
Gotcha.
I almost walked out because the guy was just a nice guy, but he didn't really have a business sense and didn't know how it worked and everything else. And I was supposed to have the store 2 months earlier,
Gotcha.
but he thought selling a business was like selling a car. I hand you the money, you hand me the keys. Unless there's a contract in place, I can't do the searches that I need to know if you owe back taxes, if you owe. I mean, it wasn't the landlord I was worried about, but more New York State and the government, because.
So was COVID kind of the nail in the coffin for him?
No, because he was still open. I just think, unfortunately, he had a handicapped child, and his wife was very ill, and I think it burnt him out. Listen, people love the guy's food. Again, I never had it, so I couldn't tell you why they loved it or whatever, but I never really heard anything terrible about the guy's food.
So, as far as future plans, anything on the horizon, or just kind of staying the course?
Well, I expanded the menu. I'm expanding my wine list, so I'll be little over 90 some odd wines. Again, probably have 3 or 4 of the same grape, if you would, but different flavor profiles. I'm constantly throwing out different specials. It's got to see what works. It's funny because we had the, Spasso's, we had a few places. And what worked in one area didn't work in another area. As far as, for example, we had a pizzeria in Wantor, and, the buffalo chicken pizza over there was almost outsold the regular pie. But in Lindenhurst it sells, but nowhere near as it did in Wantor. And it's just different areas, different palates. I could bring a wine that does phenomenal over here by me in Lindenhurst and bring it if I decided to open up another place, and it might not work there. It's the palates are different. Area to area, everything's different.
Okay, so just bringing it back to here, what are some businesses around town that you enjoy or that you have a good relationship with, and you enjoy their product and you kind of have a symbiotic thing going on?
I have a good relationship with the guy Billy over at Restorations. They're good people. Hunter and Thief, even Tommy Lurch. We share the same parking lot. He's got good food. Where else? Ruby Soho's got their margaritas that the people love. I used to love Bakudo. I mean, there was nothing bad that I've ever had at Bakudo. Unfortunately, it's closed now. Hermanas, I've had some good meals. I don't think they know me that well, but because I didn't introduce myself. But the guy Liam that works there, he knows me. And listen, everyone's a help. I mean, even Belfast, when I first opened up, helped me out, with stuff. It's a very welcoming town. As far as the other businesses, they don't look at you as competitors, but actually as helpers. Because every business is going to bring somebody here. I mean, listen, I had a video that went viral on me, and I had people from Lindenhurst that had no idea I was here. So, I mean, and I've been open 9 months, and they're like, "Oh, did you guys just open?" No, 9 months. He goes, "Really? We didn't even know you were here." He goes, "We saw the social media thing." I said, "Oh, I'm glad you came. How was everything?" "Oh, it was phenomenal. We're definitely coming back." I mean, I come from a cooking background, so my kitchen's not box to fryer or box to oven. Everything is handmade. I mean, I'm not making the prosciutto myself.
Okay.
But I pick it. Spices and stuff. I'm very, very, very particular. I mean, there's different grades of everything that you can buy.
And as far as the food here, is it mostly like small plate type things?
To an Italian family, small plates. To the customers, it's
right.
To the customers, they're like, "Wow, this is huge."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I designed the menu so people can, a lot of shareables. And I'm making it where 2 and 3 people can share, grab a few appetizers and share. I mean, I have unique appetizers. I have, I'm not bar food here. I'm good food, quality food. Like I said, I'm very particular about what I get. I mean, even down to my chicken, it's hormone-free, antibiotic-free, free-range chicken. I mean, it costs a little bit more, but I don't care. I want people to get quality. I'm just tired of going out to places and then the stuff is
and it's
subpar,
frozen.
Yeah, I know it's frozen, and I am closed 2 days a week. It gives me time to research different things, and then I'm always looking to better my menu and better my product. So if someone brings me a product that's better, and I think I can make it work, great. Right now I think I have the best product I can serve my customer. But if something better comes up, why not?
So any closing?
I wanted to ask, has anybody else been confused that there's no T in Pino? Like it's not Pino like the wine?
Yes. So, little story behind that. I named the place after my dad.
Okay.
He passed 4 years ago, and if you guys see the picture on the wall over there, that's my dad.
Okay.
Which, a lot of the customers that come to me know my mother. She's constantly here. I love her. I wouldn't change her being here. She does get in the way. I mean, she thinks she's younger than what she is, and she just, we're a little faster than she is, and sometimes she's in the way. But everybody knew what I was naming the store, but they never knew about the picture.
Gotcha.
And when my mother saw that, she's here every day. Not that I want her or I'm forcing her to be here, but she's like, "I feel like your dad's here." And she's, people that knew my dad and my mom that come in there, like, you just gave your mother new life. I was like, yeah. I was like, her health has improved because my mom's 75, so the store's 100 feet long. So I'm walking to front to back on a 75-year-old woman.
Yeah.
It's exercise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which is what she wasn't getting sitting at home next to a shrine of my dad.
Yeah.
But that's why there's no T in the Pino as the wine, because it's not named after the wine.
That is awesome.
Okay. I'm going to wait a second until the music quiets down. All right. So we'll hit you with our closing question that we ask all of our guests. If you could describe Lindenhurst to somebody who's never been there, what would you tell them?
A very underrated town. a lot of people, that's why I'm excited for what's coming in across the street, because it's going to bring people from out of town and say, wow, I didn't expect Lindenhurst to be that. It's just a very underrated town. It's a very close-knit community. I mean, if you screw up, everybody will know about it. So you always have to be on your best behavior. I try to be nice to everybody. I try to make them feel like family. That's why there's a thing that says on my dad's picture, come as a stranger, leave as family. There was over 1,000 people at my father's funeral. And my father being an immigrant, and they did well for themselves. My father didn't care if you were the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or a janitor. If you felt you were a good person, everyone got treated the same. And I've heard some amazing stories about my dad after he died. That he never boasted about helping you out. You know, it's
This place is a good tribute to him.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
Sorry.
It's all right.
We both lost our fathers too, so we can relate.
You know, I don't have any regrets. I spent as much time with my dad. You know, it was our best friend. You know, we're three brothers with 3 different personalities, and he was with us in a different way. He was able to relate to all 3 of us. So, I give it my all over here in honoring my dad.
Awesome.
Good stuff. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And best of luck in the future.
Was
We'll
a
be back.
pleasure, man.
Red, red wine. Go to my head. Makes me forget that I still need her so. Red, red wine. It's up to you. All I can do, I've done. Memories won't go. Memories won't go. I have sworn that with time.
Long live the bench.